Wiggle, wiggle, and dance like the roof on fire. We go drink drinks and take shots until we fall out like the roof on fire. Now, baby, get my booty naked, take off.
Good afternoon and welcome to the inaugural Valley View Blazers Fall Sports Media Day. My name is Tyson Leblong. I'm a junior here at Valley View High School. Today I'll also serve as the host for our event. Today we'll be joined by coaches and players from football, volleyball, golf, tennis, dance, cheer, and cross country. The format will be as follows. We will ask our head coaches to give a brief opening statement and then open the floor up to questions. If there are any questions in the room, just raise your hand and we will get you a microphone. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will get things started with football. You're watching the inaugural Valley View Blazers Fall Sports Media Day, only on Blazer News Network.
What keeps us 120 years young? We never stop caring, learning, and leading by example. Some here call it our calling in life. We call it the St. Bernard's Way. Because what moves us every day is the knowledge that having the best science and the best people is the only way to bring Christ-like healing to all who need it. And we will never stop doing what we do, because we were born and raised here too. St. Bernard's.
We're now joined by Blazers head football coach, Coach Sean Cockrell.
Welcome everybody to this program. Really excited about this 2024 football team coming off back-to-back conference championships, a 10-2 season, and we have 23 seniors with us that are going to be with this 2024 program, and really excited about. We do have some new faces, but for the most part, these guys have been with us, and really excited about what they're going to prove in 2024. Now we're open to questions.
Coach, what do you consider to be the biggest challenge facing this team, and what's the biggest difference maybe between this bunch and last year's team?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is our kids understanding that those 26 seniors from last year are gone. A lot of times our program, these guys get used to doing things, winning conference championship, used to winning, and you've got to understand that now we have to start over. And I think that's the biggest challenge for us as coaches is try to get these guys to understand that that team is gone and this team has not really done anything yet. And so I think that they're starting to understand that, and we keep trying to tell them that as much as we can. And moving forward, I think that this team is different in a lot of ways. I feel like we have more depth than we've ever had. We have more speed than we've ever had. But the inexperience is huge right now for a lot of positions. And so we're excited about it, but, you know, it might take this team 2, 3, 4 games to get used to where we're playing and the guys that are in there to kind of get some Friday night games under their belt.
What would you say is one thing that makes y'all stand out to everyone else in this conference?
That's a great question. You know, I think in years past, a lot of our teams, you can look at volleyball and baseball and all these teams that win all these championships. I think when you look at the NEA Media Day, when everybody said there was a team they wanted to beat, it was us. And so I think that, you know, I've heard Josh say it all the time in baseball. They try to embrace the target and that kind of stuff. And that's what we're trying to do is everybody's coming for us. And it doesn't make our lives any easier. You're going to get everybody's best game on Friday night. And so we have to continue to try to build our program in a way that our kids respect the other teams, Those teams are not the same teams that they were last year or even the previous year before that. That they're teams that are getting better and better coached, and they'll continue to get better as well. So we've got a really tough road ahead of us.
Coach, it seems like you have once again continued to upgrade your non-conference schedule to get you prepared for conference play. But, I mean, this year you're taking on Poplar Bluff, one of the largest schools in Missouri. You've also got Marion for your benefit game, which is a very good 6A program, West Memphis, which is 6A, and then Searcy, which has just moved down from 6A to 5A. But talk about that non-conference schedule and what you hope to get out of that.
Yeah, we have beefed it up pretty hard, and it's not because of the choice. I would much rather play different people, but when you go calling, there's only certain people that say yes, and a lot of teams look for you that are bigger and feel like they need a win. So that's it's kind of happened here, and West Memphis has gone through a coaching change, so we're not sure what to expect from them other than they're going to be physical, they're going to be big, they're going to be fast. Searcy has done a really good job in the 6A. Poplar Bluff plays us close every year. We expect a big game from them. And then Marion starting out is one of the best teams in 6A. So we know what we're going to get. It's going to be a tough non-conference. That's what these guys have to understand is if we finish 0-3, we can still go 7-0 and win the conference and be the 1 seed. So there's going to be a lot of big learning curve through those games, but we're excited about the challenge and hopefully taking our program to the next level.
Coach, just a quick question for you. What position group or groups do you feel the best about going into this season?
I'm going to hand that to Daniel Cole for his answer.
I'd have to say probably our offensive line group. We have a great group of guys that are working their butt off in practice. We've played together for a long time, so the chemistry is there, hard work is there. And coming into last year, people thought we were going to be the weak link, and it didn't turn out to be that way. So we still have that chip on our shoulder. People underestimate us every year, but it's the offensive line that keeps this train rolling.
All right, thank you. Any more questions?
And I agree with Daniel on that. The offensive line has 4 starters back. We're expecting big things from them, and excited about that group.
Coach, who do you looking to kind of be the anchor of the line, of the O-line?
I think it's Daniel. Daniel and Hudson Rogers. They're 2 seniors, guys that have experience, guys that can lead us, that played all last year. They understand what it takes to win. We've got some good underclassmen that are playing really, really hard and started for us last year, Judd Miles and Houston Walker. And then Talon Caldwell now has stepped up and taken that other spot. And so you have 3 seniors and 2 juniors on a group that needs to be really, really good for us to be successful.
Coach, you've kind of taken control of this conference the last few years. This year I know you look for fuel to kind of energize your team. You're not the favorite this year. A new team coming in, Harding, is the favorite. Is that some fuel for you?
I think so, and I'm going to let Drew answer that.
Yeah, Harding has beat us the last 2 years, and I'm really excited to get to play him for my 3rd year. I've always played good against them. Last year I was not a starter, and I came in and really played good that game. And they talk trash, and they're a good team, and I'm ready to go in and beat their butts.
And to add to that, I think it's going to be a different game. We always play them first game of the year. They don't scrimmage anybody. We don't know what we're getting into. Now it's week 5, second game of the conference. So we feel like we'll have a little better idea of what we're getting into with them. But we know, they should be picked to win. They're undefeated 4A state champion, beat us last year. They got everybody coming back. They should be the favorite in our conference.
One more question, Coach. Is Drew the most inexperienced quarterback you've ever had?
He's not the most inexperienced, for sure. We've had, multiple quarterbacks in the past 11 years that I've been the head coach that come in and they've never played the position and have to start as a senior. Drew has been a junior high quarterback, had lots of great games under his belt, was our backup the last 2 years, even though he was an all-state receiver last year. So we feel great about the quarterback position and where we're going. We just need to make sure that he stays healthy.
Drew, how excited are you to finally move behind center full time?
You know, I played quarterback all my life, and that's been my favorite position. And I'm excited to play it again and just have the ball in my hands first and be able to control where the ball goes.
Thank you, Coach Cockrell and players. We're going to take a short break, and then after the break, we'll be joined by head Blazer volleyball coach, Coach Margie McGee.
Thank you.
Welcome to the new Right Fiber store on Southwest Drive in Jonesboro. It's the newest way to connect with Jonesboro's official broadband partner for the fastest, most reliable gig speed internet with speeds up to 5 gig. Signing up for local Right Fiber internet has never been easier or more convenient. At Right Fiber, we're proud to be right by you and with our new location right here in Jonesboro. Discover the Right Fiber advantages and the speed that is right for you and your family. See you soon.
Fall Sports Media Day here on Blazer News Network. Now we're joined by head Blazer volleyball coach, Coach Margie McGee.
Thanks for having us here. Just a recap of our season last year. We were conference runner-up in the 5A East, which is a tough conference. Quarterfinalist, really heartbreaking loss to Harrison in the quarterfinals, a 5-set loss. And so these girls have really gone to work this year in preseason, and we kind of did a tour across the state of Arkansas for team camps the last 2 weeks and really hit it hard with some tough competition. And I'm really, really excited about what's coming up for us for Blazer Volleyball for 2024 season this year. They've worked extremely hard. We have 7 seniors, 4 juniors, and 9 sophomores. 20 girls altogether, and they're really exciting to watch. I was able to put together 2 different lineups, 2 competitive lineups for team camps, and on any given day, I would love to just watch them battle each other in practice and have them go at it, because it was just really good volleyball and exciting volleyball, and I'm really excited to have it back again, coming back again around this fall.
Okay, now we'll open it up with questions from the media.
All right, so I see that y'all are wearing "We Not Me" shirts. One of my favorite teams also has that motto. And is that y'all's motto? And if so, tell me a little bit about that.
One of the best things about this team this year and the 20 girls that are on this team, and they have embraced any lineup that I have put out there in team camps. They have embraced cheering each other on, no matter who was in what position, whether they're sophomore, junior, or senior. Obviously, we have a lot of experience behind me, just with being a part of such a program where we expect dominance in our conference, and being conference runner-up, they kind of have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. So they've really embraced that "we is greater than me" concept, and they've really gone about it in such a great way of just building the team chemistry.
This is kind of a piggyback question off of that, but the bar has been set so high for your program, especially with the dominance that you had. I mean, you pretty much owned Class 4A for so many years. Now you've transitioned back up to 5A. Is that fuel, and this question is for you as well as whichever one of your players you want to answer, but is that fuel to help drive you guys to get back to that elite level?
I think that fuel is there all the time in this program. What they do day in and day out in the off season, and then in the summertime, they give up a lot of their time in the summertime for team camps and practices right after the dead period. And I think that fuel is always there, and their expectations are so high of themselves sometimes that the frustration is there when sometimes the skill level may not be there, or they may be off that day, and so we've got to work with those emotions and deal with that frustration. But I think they put a little bit more pressure on themselves because of how high our program is regarded across the state. But I'm going to let Riley Owens kind of touch a little bit on that and the fuel and what really is their passion behind this season.
I mean, I've played since my sophomore year, and it's just been a lot. I mean, since we've moved up, we've been playing a lot of bigger teams and better teams in our conference, and then when we get to the state finals. And I think our biggest, fuel is ourselves. We don't really most of the time worry about, who we're playing in the moment or anything like that. We just kind of go off of each other and always work on building each other up and pushing each other to be our best, and we don't let who we're playing or who we're going against dictate how we're going to play that day or how we're going to be feeling.
Coach, just a question for you. How important was it for your team to play in team camps all across Arkansas this summer and play a high-level competition before the regular season starts?
I think with the team, we have a lot of the same players back. We graduated 2 seniors and moving up 9 sophomores this year. I think it was truly important for us to build that schedule and build that team schedule, that team camp schedule this summer, just to see how well chemistry-wise they would gel together and mix together. And it truly has been a lot of answers that I need to see, but I think a lot of answers that they need to see about the chemistry and playing together on the court regardless of what age they are. And I think we did do that together, and we got to get a lot of answers, and we're about to go to practice and kind of what I was talking about earlier, kind of beat up on each other a little bit and play against each other and just have some really good competition in practice, which I'm really looking forward to.
What are some of the things that you've focused on during the off season to try to make another run back to that state championship?
One of the biggest things that we focused on is unforced errors. Volleyball is such a fast reaction sport, and the timing of the sport and hitting, defense, serving, there's so much involved in the timing, and there's so much equal opportunity to make an unforced error, whether you're trying to hit it just a little bit harder but you run past the ball and so it goes out of bounds, or you're trying to hit your serve, just put a little bit more velocity on your serve and you're missing it out by 2 feet. We really focused on the unforced errors, putting the ball in the court on the other side, but in a way where it causes problems for the other team and trying to pick apart their defense. And I think that was a crucial part for us also to go to team camps this summer.
Coach, and if you could pick a few or however many you'd like, which players are you going to have to rely on for leadership throughout the year?
Well, for sure, the girls that are behind us. They have been absolutely wonderful welcoming our 9 sophomores into the program. Our 4 juniors are just phenomenal athletes, so they just add to these ladies behind us. And I think it's going to be just a collaborative team effort, and they would probably agree with me that we have had a blast this last month in team camps and practices and just putting the team together. And then we open up with Brooklyn August 27th, I believe, and hopefully we'll have a packed house for that. And I think the atmosphere is just going to be absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, Coach. Any more questions from the media?
I didn't want to disappoint you by not asking a question, Coach. for 20 years you've been the team to beat. You haven't won it in 2 years. Are you still the team to beat, or is that following somebody else?
I feel like you put on that blue and gold uniform and put a Valley View Blazer B on. I feel like in any sport that we go into any type of competition against any school, we are the team to beat. We're the team to beat. Everybody, we set the standard high. We're the team to beat in academics. We're the team to beat in any sport that we step out there in. But I feel like that target is back on us again. A few of the coaches at team camps, there were a lot of coaches watching us at team camps this summer, and few of them towards the end, we went to Lakeside last camp, and they said, looks like you're going to be in for the running. Looks like you're back at it again. So I feel like, anytime you put on that blue and gold, no matter what sport we're doing, we have a bullseye on our back.
Question for Annika, and I'm asking Annika this because I'm sure she's not the only multi-sport athlete on the stage right now, but you're one that I know for sure is. But as a multi-sport athlete, do you feel that serves you well in all the sports that you play, in particular volleyball?
I think it for sure does. I think that coming from volleyball to basketball, I think I'm already in shape. I'm locked in, I'm focused because I don't have to worry about the preseason and everything. And I think that it helps in volleyball coming back from, basketball, because I have a hard season where I'm working hard and I'm training on, running faster, jumping higher and everything. And I think all of it just correlates together really well.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? I think we're good. After the break, we'll be joined by head boys golf coach, Coach Josh Allison.
Evolve Bank and Trust is your financial partner of choice for full-service banking in Jonesboro. Come in and see us at 111 East Huntington Avenue, Suite A, or call us at 870-933-2480. Evolve Bank now offers checking and savings accounts, CDs, home and business loans, and so much more. Check us out online at getevolved.com. Evolve Bank and Trust, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Back to Fall Sports Media Day here on Blazer News Network. We are now joined by head boys golf coach, Coach Josh Allison, head girls golf coach, Coach Brad Davis.
All right, I'm just going to give you a quick recap of our golf season last year from the boys' standpoint, and I'll let Coach Davis go from the girls. But last year, not really sure of our record. It was around 28-10, something like that. But we were conference champs, which is the thing that matters the most. And so we graduated 3 guys that played in competition last year. So we've got some new guys that are kind of filtering in and taking those spots over. But I would say that our team's a little bit deeper this year. We're not as, last year was more of a top-heavy team. This year there's probably about 5 or 6 guys that aren't currently playing in matches that could at some point throughout the year find their way in the matches. So really excited about that and making a run at another conference title.
Yeah, on the girls' side, we finished, I believe, 51-6 last year, and we kind of calculate that by the number of teams we beat in a tournament. We won 3 out of the 4 tournaments we were in during the season. We were fortunate enough to be conference champions in the 5A East, which is a strong golf conference as well, as most sports is. The 5A East is always good in anything. And then we were able to host our state tournament at Ridge Point Country Club and finish runner-up to a very good Russellville team. So a lot of high expectations coming back. We're a play 4, count 3 scores format, so we did lose our 2 best averages from a year ago to graduation. But we got 10 girls this year, 2 returning from the lineup, and then we had a move in from Oklahoma that's helped us quite a bit in our first. We've already started, we've had 2 tournaments last week. We get cranked up before school starts, so we're off and running and looking for another successful run at it.
We'll now open it up with questions from the media.
Question for both coaches. What do each of you consider to be strengths and weaknesses going into this year?
For the ladies, we've got 2 returners back that played in every match last year, so they're accustomed. They've played for me for 2 years now. Our first 4 in rotation so far have been all juniors, and those 2 coming back now have to step up where we might not have counted one of their scores last year. Now we're pretty much counting on both scores, so that's a change for them. Anna Shinneberry, Ruby Reynolds, McKenna Torix moved in this year. Those 3 in my top 3 have kind of been interchangeable and pretty close in average. So that's been a positive for us. We're trying to build some consistency with our 4th spot, which our 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all pretty close and can kind of be interchangeable based on average. I've got Cameron Coot here with me, senior for our only senior this year. So we're trying to build a little more consistency on the back end and get those 3 ladies to kind of realize, hey, we need your score today.
Our biggest strength probably is we have our top 2 returners score-wise from the conference tournament. So Gavin Ellis, one of our seniors right here, and then Spencer St. Pierre, who actually had the top score last year for our team in the conference tournament. So we do have some experience when it comes to big matches and state tournaments. And then I would say probably a weakness is we've got a lot of guys that are real capable of playing or stepping in and playing in those 3, 4, 5 spots or 4, 5 spots, but have very little experience when it comes to in matches with other teams. We play all the time against each other, but when you're out there scoring with other guys and there's a little bit more pressure and there's a lot of people watching your group, just getting that experience throughout the year I think will be a big help.
Coach, both of you coaches, same question for y'all that I asked Coach McGee for volleyball. You haven't won in a while. Is this a group that's going to get it back to Valley View?
Can I defer that question to one of the kids?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think my 9th grade year we won back-to-back state championships. We were really deep. I think I was like the 4 or 5 man, and they were deep with Luke Morgan, my brother Peyton Ellis, and then Parker Turley. We were really good. I think they won it 4 times in a row, but I was on the team for 2 of them. And I think once you lost all those guys, we fell off a little bit. But I still think we're right there. Like Coach said, we're deep this year. We had to split it up into 2 teams with a range team and then an actual competition team. But like Coach said, we have 5 or 6 guys that can all go out there and shoot upper 70s, low 80s. But it's just the problem is finding who can shoot that good score on the day whenever they're in the top 5 rotation. But so this is my last run. But I'll say that we do have a good shot at going for the state championship. Yes, sir.
Yeah, on the ladies' side, we were able to win the conference a year ago and get to that state runner-up position. Russellville has probably the strongest golfer in 5A state back, and 2 others that were on their team. Greene County Tech has everybody back, and we've got experience back and then trying to develop some. So I feel like we can get there. Cameron, who do you think we got to look out for this year?
I definitely think we need to look out for Greene County Tech. It's been pretty back-to-back with them the past couple of years. We're pretty close. We're right in there, but I think we can beat them.
Just in general for both teams, I mean, what's the mentality and approach for both of y'all?
Golf kind of works in a way where there's competition in practice every day and then in the matches. So for us, like I said, our our 1, 2, and even our 1, 2, and 3 are pretty competitive with each other, earning those top 3 spots. And then our 4, 5, 6, 7 are also trying to earn a spot in that top 4 rotation. So you got to compete amongst yourself to get those spots. And then once you're out on the course, you're competing against the other schools. So the competition level with so many close scores for us on the girls' side kind of keeps it. You got to show up and work every day, or you're going to fall behind.
All right, yeah, so the mentality's like you got to go out there and get it. Like Coach Housen said, we're really deep this year, and it could be anybody on any given day. So really just whoever wants it more each day is probably going to get it. So the mentality's really just trying to go get after it.
I got one more thing to add to that. So Coach Allison said our expectation in a team scores is to play 5, count 4 format would be 320, which is an 80 average. But I think we played 2 tournaments, and I think we shot in the 320s both tournaments. And we got 4th at the Sage tournament, the Bearcat Invitational, and then we got tied for 5th out of 7 teams at our own tournament. But my expectation is always to win. So I've seen guys on the range every day this week trying to get better, like Spencer St. Pierre's always on the range. Ryan's been playing. Reed's always out there practicing. Landon's out there practicing. But I think if all 5 of us guys can shave off like 4 or 5, 6 strokes each, then we're looking good to be tying for first or winning or getting a top 2. So that's our expectation.
Okay, sorry I'm asking this question, but I can't resist. Of the 7 people on that stage right now, and whoever wants to answer this can jump in, of the 7 people on that stage right now, who's got the biggest personality?
Oh, I'm answering it. I'd have to say this guy right here.
Why is that?
Oh, he's a yapper.
And just a quick question for each of you players. What part of your game have you focused on the most during the off season?
I definitely think it's my putting. Last year I couldn't putt at all. Everything was 3 putts, and 3 putts are terrible. Easy, just giving away shots there. So this summer I did a lot of putting.
I'd say my approach shots and my putting was pretty bad last year, so been working on that quite a bit, trying to get better.
I would definitely say my long game. I struggled with that last year, but I've had a lot of lessons, and I'm trying to work at it, and it's getting better. Now I need to work on my putting a little bit more.
This off season, I really worked on just like consistency. I feel like I always put up like a lot of birdies per round. Like I probably average 5 to 8 birdies a round. I just can't figure out a way to shoot under par because I'll throw in like a quad or a double. But my biggest thing is just finding that consistency swing and like getting off the tee box, hitting fairways, and then hitting the green, and then trying to just birdie or par at worst. But I'm just working on finding that final swing to play with all year.
All right, so I've been working on a little bit of everything, but I'd say my biggest thing is definitely my driver, just making sure I can get off the box good, be safe in the fairway, and have a good approach shot in, so give myself a chance to score.
Any more questions from the media? All right, thank you, coaches and players. When we come back, we'll be joined by head tennis coach, Coach Taylor Settlemore.
What keeps us 120 years young? We never stop caring, learning, and leading by example. Some here call it our calling in life. We call it the St. Bernard's Way. Because what moves us every day is the knowledge that having the best science and the best people is the only way to bring Christ-like healing to all who need it. And we will never stop doing what we do, because we were born and raised here too. St. Bernard's.
Welcome back to Valley View Blazers Fall Sports Media Day here on Blazer News Network. We're now joined by head tennis coach, Coach Taylor Settlemore.
Hey, thanks, Tyson. So just to recap last year for us, our girls came in third in state on the heels of a really good senior we had last year, Hannah Heineman. She had a really deep run for us and about took us all the way to the state championship and almost got that for us. But we lost her and, a couple other key pieces in our girls team. But the fun part about it is this current freshman class is humongous. And they're all athletes, multi-sport athletes, and they're going to pick up the pieces. I think on the girls' side, we're looking at a really good run for the next 4 years. On the boys' side, it's been the same team for about all 3 of my years. I had a very young team when I first got the gig, and it's been the same guys. I got 2 seniors now that Cody came back to us. 2 seniors this year on the boys' side. So we're a young team overall. My first year, 2022, we got conference champions on both sides. Last year we came up short in both, but the fun thing about tennis and golf and all that, you can do it as individuals and team, and you can still make it to the tournament and come out on top even if you don't have the best conference run. In the past couple of years, we've been one of the best teams in our conference besides Searcy. We add Mountain Home to our conference this year, and that's going to add some good, healthy competition for us that we need to build that deeper postseason run. But I'm good for questions. I should have said I got Cody here. He's a multi-sport athlete. He's in the marching band. Then he plays tennis. And then Bella Seaman is a junior, and she plays 4 sports. She plays tennis, volleyball, basketball, and soccer.
About how many kids do you have on your team, and is what you have pretty much typical for a 5A school?
Well, it depends. I've got about 31 kids on this team this year, and it's a much bigger team than I've had in the past. In our conference, that's one of the bigger teams. It's hard for some of these schools to build a tennis team. I know Nettleton has a smaller team, really small team. Then you go to places like Searcy, and they've got the same numbers we do. It just depends what the school, what it looks like and who's in the district and if they have a lot of tennis experience or not and how much the coaches are recruiting. I mean, luckily for me here, I don't have to recruit a lot of my kids to come play. They already played tennis. Like Cody recruited a band kid to come play tennis for me that was just a friend of his. So it does a lot of its own, team building within the district. It just depends on what district you're at.
Kind of along the same thing, Coach. Tennis has a very rich tradition at Valley View High School. Is this normal to have this few seniors?
Well, all my senior girls were busy today.
Okay.
Maybe they just didn't want to be in front of the camera, so that's why I got Bella. And then, like I said, I've only got 2 senior boys. So I think it just, like I said, right now all the tennis players were the younger kids. I think these grades right here was just a smaller sample size of what was playing tennis growing up.
Who is the normal team to beat in your 5A now?
Well, it was Pulaski Academy, but we kicked them up to 6A this year. So, Searcy's always hard, Mountain Home's always hard, and they're both in our conference. Lakeside's always a good one that you're going to see in the state tournament, and we've been able to schedule them in regular season the last 2 years. So we try to keep our schedule built with people we know we're going to see late in the year, just because our conference, it drops off pretty quickly once you get to those other schools. So.
Question for you, Coach. What players are you going to have to rely on for leadership throughout the season?
Well, I mean, considering I've only got 5 seniors, period, it's important for those seniors to make a difference, especially with how many underclassmen we have. I mean, that, like I said, the girls, there's probably 15 freshman girls on this team. That may be exaggerating it just a little bit, but there's a lot of them. And even, our upper class, our juniors like Bella, I mean, they're so important and so integral in what we do every day.
Question for both you players. What goals have you set for yourself for this upcoming season?
I just want to
do a little better when it comes to conference and state. I feel like I always get a little nervous and I kind of play a little shaky, so hopefully I can do a little better job this year of finishing the season.
Well, obviously I didn't play last year. I had to take a year break. But I would say mostly just work on mental game. That's something that I've struggled with a lot. And just the stuff that I do for fun, like bowling, that's also a mental game. As for what I want to do, it's obviously everyone wants to win the state championship, but I just want to end my senior year off with a bang.
Coach, what are your expectations for both teams for the upcoming season?
I mean, I want to get us back, 2 more conference championships first and foremost. I mean, that's the first thing I'm looking at. But again, with the young team, I just want to grow, and I want these kids to get better on the court and get better in the classroom. But first and foremost, I'm looking at the conference tournament, and then we're looking on the state after that. But conference comes first in our minds.
Media, any more questions?
And I should have said, too, Bella has placed third in state both years that she has played in doubles. So she's come real close twice.
Coach, I'm sorry I'm not more versed on how the format is for high school tennis. What is the format for high school tennis? I know golf, you play 5, score 4, play 4, score 3. What is yours?
Well, it's funny because in the state of Arkansas, for some reason, you play a set during the regular season. That's conference matches. You just play a set, and you use that to seed against the other coaches and other players from the conference for conference tournament for that bracket. It's a little silly sometimes trying to figure out who beat this person. Bella beat this girl from Marion, but so did the West Memphis girl, but lost to Bella. You really have to go up there and kind of use statistics and prepare yourself. But once you get to the state tournament, it's best 2 out of 3 sets, just like any other USTA match or format like that.
Any more questions? Thank you, Coach. Thank you, players. When we come back, we'll be joined by Valley View dance coach, Coach Aaron Frankenberg.
Welcome to the new Right Fiber store on Southwest Drive in Jonesboro. It's the newest way to connect with Jonesboro's official broadband partner for the fastest, most reliable gig speed internet with speeds up to 5 gig. Signing up for local Right Fiber internet has never been easier or more convenient. At Right Fiber, we're proud to be right by you and with our new location right here in Jonesboro. Discover the Right Fiber advantages and the speed that is right for you and your family. See you soon.
We are now joined by Valley View dance coach, Coach Aaron Frankenberg.
Thank you for having us here. Just a little recap of our season last year. It was my first time being in senior high with dance. I've been junior high in the past. So we do local competitions, and we did good and we did bad in some. And then our state is in November, and we got 6th in state. So looking forward, I would like to do a little better with that this year. But last year we also got to go to Orlando to compete at nationals, so that was a great experience too. So this year we've already started. It's like the sport that never ends. It never stops. Very little breaks. So we've hit the ground running and we're ready to go.
Now we'll open it up with questions from the media.
Coach, if you would talk a little bit about the competition side of dance, because I think, I think maybe to the average fan, they may not realize, that part kind of flies under the radar. They're used to seeing you guys just performing at basketball and football games, et cetera. But I know you're very involved in the actual competition part of the sport as well.
I kind of feel like people, I agree, they don't understand the whole competition side of dance. And we usually compete in 3 to 4 different categories. There's pom, there's jazz, there's hip hop, and there's kick. And it just kind of takes like our strengths we can put towards each dance, and that's kind of what each team that you get, you kind of see what that strength is, and those are the dances that you bring to the competitions. And it varies from year to year, and we get to work with local. Well, actually, last year we flew somebody in from Detroit, and she was one of our choreographers. So not only do we get to work with other people around, I guess around the world, really, but it's just a different aspect of it. It's different than what they see at the ball games when we're on the sidelines. And yes, we do compete or perform at halftime and stuff, but it gives them something to work towards, and a lot of people don't see that side of it, so it's very intense.
Last year you had 11 girls.
Yes.
This year you got way more than that. What's easier?
Well, actually, I wasn't the one that had the 11 girls. That would have been Coach Cockrell, my assistant. Last year we did have 21, so it was the year before we had 11. And I don't know what that's like, because my team has been 20 or more every time, and I would like to say that the 11 would be easier, but I kind of think I'm a bigger team coach. Like, I like the power that they have when they get out there on stage and see what they can do.
You have to do choreography on so many different things. It's not just one dance or one type of dance. How hard is it to get these girls focused on what they're doing?
It's extremely hard, especially in high school, is what I found out. So, yeah, this year we started something new. Like, right after tryouts, we set some rules where it's you put your phone down, you get ready, you go run. Like, we got them on kind of a little stricter schedule this summer, which has actually helped out now. So I think we'll keep doing that. But do you want to hear how they think that they can? How do you stay on your schedule? How do you stay focused?
I think it's really just trying to, as soon as you walk in the room, the dance room, that's all you need to think about. There's so many things to think about when it goes in a dance, not just game days or competition, but how well you're supposed to work as a team. And I think as soon as you walk in the door, not just to put yourself in there, but to put your team and what you need to work for together. So,
is there any competition that you want to get revenge in, so to speak, or any team, or just anywhere in that realm?
Any teams? What do y'all think? Well, we hear that Brooklyn might be coming back up. That was our biggest competition, and I think next year that will be our biggest competition. But we're competing against teams like Alma, Benton, and they're pretty strong teams. So it was kind of a little shock to me to see that last year. So I don't know that we are up to their level yet, but our main goal is to get as close as we can to them.
Coach, a moment ago you made a reference to running. Talk about the physical conditioning that goes into preparing for dance and dance competition.
We did. Well, we had to start running this year because, you do these dances that are 2 minutes long and they are out of shape. And so I think they can all agree they do not like that part of it, but they can all agree that it has helped them get through these dances and just built up their stamina so we can perform better.
Coach, how do you balance performing at games, preparing for that, and then preparing for upcoming competitions?
Our game day practices usually happen, we kind of get all of that ready at the beginning of the season, right after tryouts. We'll do all the sideline chants, fight song, things like that that they can learn for game days, and they can work on that throughout the year. And we'll practice throughout the summer. But competition, we usually learn our dances during the summer, and then we pretty much just focus on that until November.
And you can pick a player to answer this one, but what goals have you set for yourself and the team for this upcoming season?
just want to do our best this year and try to get better as a team, work together, not get so distracted.
Let me think. I think a goal that we have is being stronger in like all of our dances. Like this year, we kind of have like in junior high, this year was our best team that we had. So like coming into high school and we're all like better than we were in junior high, and like knowing that this year's kind of our like team that's the best that we've had, I think that makes us like work harder and want to do better because we know that we can. So I just think trying to do better in all of the dances and knowing that we like can do better forces us to, you know.
Any more questions from the media? Thank you. After the break here on Blazer News Network, we will be joined by Valley View cheer coach, Coach Hannah Walker.
Welcome to the new Right Fiber store on Southwest Drive in Jonesboro. It's the newest way to connect with Jonesboro's official broadband partner for the fastest, most reliable gig speed internet with speeds up to 5 gig. Signing up for local Right Fiber internet has never been easier or more convenient. At Right Fiber, we're proud to be right by you and with our new location right here in Jonesboro. Discover the Right Fiber advantages and the speed that is right for you and your family. See you soon.
Welcome back here on Blazer News Network. We are now joined by Valley View cheer coach, Coach Hannah Walker.
Thank you so much for having us today. We're kind of similar to dance. We compete locally all around the state and in Jonesboro. Last year we also went to nationals and we made it to semifinals, which was a big deal. We competed against around 90 teams at nationals last year, and then we made it into the top 50, which is a huge deal. That's teams from all over the country, and coming from Arkansas and coming from Jonesboro, that is a really big deal. I'm really excited about this year and this group of seniors behind me. We have a good group. We have 15 sophomores this year, so we're kind of young, but our senior class is strong, and I'm really going to lean on them for leadership and their skills, and just excited to start this year.
Coach, same question for you that I had for Coach Frankenberg, but if you would address the competitive part of cheer as a sport and also the physical conditioning that's required for your athletes.
So a lot of people, like you said earlier, just see us at games and we just perform little short pieces at games, or we just perform a cheer and maybe a dance or something. But when we get into competition side of it, you have a routine that's 2.5 minutes long, and in the middle of that you perform a cheer. And if you've ever tried to run a mile and yell words at the same time and be loud and be effective, it's a lot harder than what you actually think it is. The competition side, it's very competitive. We're in the 5A, so just like every other sport in the 5A, it is hard. Cheerleading is no different than basketball, football, anything like that. We're competing against really big schools. They're coming from the Little Rock area, so they're pulling more athletes that are competing competitively outside of their school, so it is hard. So just training and making sure that we are consistent in what we are doing really helps. The last 2 years, state has been a little rough, so this year going forward, we're looking more at being consistent with our skills, going out there, hitting a routine, and seeing where we fall.
Are any of your student athletes multi-sport athletes that compete in other sports as well?
I've got one behind me, Chelsea. She also plays softball.
I'm going to ask the same thing. What's one competition that you're looking forward to the most this upcoming season?
I would say state is our biggest competition that we're looking for redemption there. This past year was my first year as head coach, but the past 2 years I've helped, and we have not done what we wanted to do at state. So I think going out there this year, no matter what a placement is, I don't care if we get 10th place, I want us to go and hit and walk off the floor feeling confident in what we've shown the state, and showing everyone that we can hang in the 5A and that we are a big deal, and Valley View is still a very competitive cheerleading school.
The history of cheer at Valley View has been very rich, very good. If I'm not mistaken, you took it to the national level a few years back. How important is it to you to get back to that same place?
It's very important because myself as an athlete, I competed in high school, so I went to nationals every year. I'm from Tennessee, so our scoring's a little bit different than in the state of Arkansas, but I was used to going to state and I was used to winning, and I went to nationals and I won, and then I cheered at A-State. So I have that competitive spirit in me, and it is feeding through our program now. We've started an intermediate program, so I've got a competitive team that's my 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade girls, and that's going to feed into my junior high and then my senior high, and I think that's going to make a big difference on the competition side of it. And the girls behind me they're all very competitive. They're hungry. They've cheered since they were in junior high. They know what it is like to win. They've seen older teams at Valley View win state, so I think that's their goal also.
Coach, what's one of the most challenging aspects of cheer that your normal fan wouldn't really realize?
I'm going to let one of my seniors answer that. Taylor?
I will say we put a lot of hard work and effort into this, and practice sometimes, especially during the comp season. We're always conditioning. If something falls, we're conditioning to make up for it. Our coach Hannah, she's really competitive, and she wants us to have the same hunger and feeling as that. And so I will say a lot of people just see the sideline part of it, but our competition side is so much more than our sideline.
Coach, you can pick another player to answer this if you'd like, but what goals have you set for yourself and the team this season?
This team is probably one of the closest teams that we've had in a long time, and a lot of us cheered together in junior high with the upcoming sophomores. They were in 7th grade when we were in 9th grade, and so we're already a very close team. So I think it's really is because the last few years haven't been a good representation of our team, and so we're just kind of ready to show everyone what we have.
Any more questions from the media?
Coach and seniors, game day is not really game day for you guys because you have 2 game days. Game day and your competition game day. So I want to ask all the seniors and you, Coach, which is more important to y'all?
I'll start off. First and foremost, I tell them this is how I was brought up in cheerleading. You're a representation of Valley View before you are anything else, before you are yourself. Game days at the school, like football and basketball games, those are our top priority. That's what's most important to me. We're out in the community seeing people at those events. We're seeing little girls that want to be a Valley View cheerleader one day. So making sure that they're representing the school and themselves the way that they would want someone to remember them. So for me, game day comes first, but work also has to go into competition. So it's a fine balance of, do we spend so much time practicing game day or do we spend more time practicing competition? We do a really good job of that. They're very good at come in, get our game day stuff done so that we know what we're doing on Friday nights or at basketball game, and then we can focus on competition as well.
I will say game day is really fun. Being a high school cheerleader, seeing all these little girls who look up to you, it's really magical. And we put a lot of work into game day, but sometimes we're too focused on competition, so we're not locked in for game day. And Hannah really helps us get back on that track because, like she said, before anything, you're a Valley View cheerleader. You're representing Valley View. You have these little kids looking up to you. So, I really like game day.
I would say personally that like it's just an experience in itself to be a Valley View cheerleader, like for game day, for like football, and for game day, just our competition. I think that we really work a lot for competition because it's really what we put our hours into our practices for. But I think having a good game day is just like she said, like a magical experience in itself, and seeing all these people that look up to you makes you feel like really good about yourself and that you want to be a good person and show that to everyone around the school and to schools all over.
I think that we put a lot of practice into our competitions, and we can also use all of our competition stunts and all of our practices, and we can put all that into our game day and perform for our football stadium. We can perform to everybody the same thing we perform at practice, and that's why I think it's good that we do both, and I think that we just put both of them together a lot of the time. It's just good conditioning. We put a lot of practice into our we focus a lot on stunts is what I'll say. Stunting is a big score in competition, so I think that makes a big difference, and we put that onto the football field a lot. That's what we kind of focus on. We just like to put all of it together.
I think that game day and competition are both equally as important. They both show a representation of Valley View and who you are. And I think that game day is something that comes a little bit more maybe easy because it's fun and you're just trying to get your stadium excited and you're cheering on your team that you love. And competition is a little bit more pressure that you put on yourself because there's judges in front of you and you don't want to let your team down. So I think that they're both very important and that we spend a lot of time on both things to make them equally as good.
I think like Coach Hannah said, it's just a really good balance and they kind of feed off of each other. But this is actually my first year being a school cheerleader and I'm so excited about it. And I just think games are going to be super fun, but I've done competitive cheer since I was 5. So I think having that experience is going to help fuel our team and help us to just push to be the best. And I think I'm excited about both just as equally.
Thank you, players, and Coach Hannah Walker. I'd like to remind you, those of you that are tuned in right now, you can also start tuning in every Friday night starting August 23rd with the benefit scrimmage that will be played at Central Dealership Stadium. And then almost every Friday night after that, we will have live coverage of Blazer football. And normally, Randy Myers will be on the call along with the color commentator. But I'd also want to encourage you to keep looking on social media for volleyball schedule. I know we'll be streaming a couple of those games inside Blazer Arena this fall. We're now going to head to break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Valley View Cross Country.
Welcome to the new Bright Fiber store.
Evolve Bank and Trust is your financial partner of choice for full-service banking in Jonesboro. Come in and see us at 111 East Huntington Avenue, Suite A, or call us at 870-933-2480. Evolve Bank now offers checking and savings accounts, CDs, home and business loans, and so much more. Check us out online at getevolved.com. Evolve Bank and Trust, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Welcome back here on Blazer News Network. We're now joined by head cross-country coach, Coach Hannah Shelby.
Thank you guys so much for having us. I will say this is my very first year to be the head coach for our cross-country team. This is my 4th year working with this group, and I can say confidently that the group behind me is a group that I've watched grow up, not only on the track, on a course, but just in general. And so I'm really excited for this to be my first year with this group of seniors. We have a lot of potential. We have kind of a young team on the men's side and the women's this year. And so I think that lends itself well to a lot of growth, a lot of learning, but also just a lot of talent, especially the people behind me. They've worked really hard to make this program succeed, and it's really on their shoulders that we get to do the things that we get to do. We have consistently been an all-conference, all-state runner program. We have a lot of conference championships. I'd like to see a lot more state championships, but the groups that we have are kind of the fundamentals of what I think will be all-state teams coming forward. So I'm really excited to see what they can do. And, yeah, we're just really excited about bringing a lot of younger runners with us. So
We'll now open it up for questions from the media.
I mean, this is a pretty basic question, but who do you expect to be the lead runner this season?
On the guys' side, we have a really big group of juniors who love the sport, and they are pretty motivated within their own friend group to be the best that they can be. So we've got a lot that comes from that group, but specifically we have Bennett Ziffel, who's been a leader for us for the past 3 years, I would say. He's been the captain because he's been sort of the weight bearer for a lot of the things that we've been missing. We haven't had a lot of senior leadership on the guys' side, and Bennett has stepped up since his sophomore year to be that. So I think that watching him succeed this year, watching him have a final good season is something that, we're excited to see. On the girls' side, we've had a lot of leadership, and we have two great seniors this year that I think will really lead our team well, not necessarily in time but in experience. They are the ones that are at the forefront of making sure everyone's where they're supposed to be, everyone's encouraged and feels like a part of a bigger goal. And so I think that those three specifically really help us move forward.
I'm not knocking your sport as I ask this question, but cross country is a sport that tends to kind of fly under the radar a little bit more so than others. So I asked that to know, what drives or motivates your athletes to participate?
Callie?
Well, I think running is something I love to do, so I think just that in itself motivates me to be better and become better. I think also team as well is great motivation. You want to do good for your team and do good for yourself and get PRs, and yeah.
I feel like the type of person you have to be to love running is very, intrinsic by nature. And so as somebody who did cross country and track, I know that the caliber of person who enjoys cross country is very specific. So it's fun to have a group of people that genuinely want to be there for themselves and each other. So that's really fun to see from a coaching standpoint.
Ask you the same question I asked several others. Format for cross country, scoring for cross country. How do you win a match? How do you win a meet?
So cross country is as much a team sport, like Taylor said, for tennis as it is individual. The way that you score a cross-country meet is that you take the top 5 runners from each team, and their place at a meet is what you count together. So a perfect cross-country score is 15. That's first through 5th place. The top 7 on a team is really the most fundamental because those 6th and 7th place runners displace other teams' top 5. So we rely heavily on 7 runners to really make sure that we're breaking up other teams' top 5 and getting our top 7 as close as possible. Because even if you don't have the first place person at a meet, you can still win if you've got 2 through, So it's very similar to some of those sports.
I've noticed some of the routes for the A-State track and cross country. I mean, they run around campus all the time, and every time that I get up for work at 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, they're already out there running, or they've been running for like 30 minutes. So what are some of the routes that y'all take every day, and what time are y'all getting up for these runs?
So a lot of times this past summer we've gone to Craighead Forest Park and we've done long runs where we run about, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour out there. We're running on all the trails and outer loops, inner loops, and we've also been running around Valley View campus and are able to just spread out and go in different directions so we can get different mileage, and not only just mileage but just more endurance and increasing our strength and abilities of running. And I'd say for like getting up, we have practices at like 7 o'clock, and I'd say we get up around 6 o'clock, 6:30 in order to get up and start going.
Just a quick question for all the boys. With good 5A teams like Mountain Home, Lakeside, and Van Buren, as of now, how are you guys feeling going into the season?
We're really excited. You know, we've been on the brink of competition, of competing with those teams past few years, but state meet we always you know, run subpar, but we're coming different this year, and that's definitely a fuel our past state performances, and a couple of teams like Mountain Home and Lakeside landed a couple good transfers, so that's something to keep a good lookout for, and just an extra guy to beat, so, and an extra team to beat. So I'm really excited for that.
Any more questions from the media? Thank you, Coach Shelby and players. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Valley View High School Athletic Director, Coach Brian Jenkins.
What keeps us 120 years young? We never stop caring, learning, and leading by example. Some here call it our calling in life. We call it the St. Bernard's Way. Because what moves us every day is the knowledge that having the best science and the best people is the only way to bring Christ-like healing to all who need it. And we will never stop doing what we do. Because we were born and raised here too. St. Bernard's.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Jenkins, Athletic Director at Valley View Schools, and I just want to take this time to say a quick thank you to all of our local media for being here today. You know, obviously without them, this event would not be what it is. We are very excited to be able to host this first annual Fall Athletic Media Day, and we plan to do this for our winter sports as well as our spring sports from here on out. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed our program today, and just stay tuned for future media days going forward, and have a great day. Go Blazers.